The last week of September, with absolutely no planning, 3 startup buildings ended up half a block from each other in the first neighborhood in the world to get Google Fiber. You can't plan that.
Initially, the idea behind it was to create a dense area of startups where we could all collaborate and innovate and see one another on a daily basis. But what it's grown into is more of a movement.
You had Google Fiber announcing that they were going to be bringing fiber here. You had the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce announcing that Kansas City was going to be the most entrepreneurial city in the world as part of the Big Five initiative. At the same time, you have sort of all the background work being done with what is now known as KCSV, and then they're starting to connect with one another. And so for the first time, you have the entire community from the grassroots all the way up through your civic leadership, your business leadership, and your elected leadership in the city all saying the same thing.
Here at KCSV, everything is entrepreneurial led. Everything that we do supports what an entrepreneur needs.
Entrepreneurs need the ability to connect with each other, to run into each other, to help each other through problems. You need all kinds of people to make a startup ecosystem work. And that's what I think is so important about the KC Startup Village, is that you've got all kinds of people over there.
The scene here is really inclusive. Everybody here just is going out of their way to help you. If you have a problem, you go ask somebody, they hand you off to exactly who can solve that problem for you.
So yeah, one of the unique things about being in a startup community, especially when you're a close, dense startup community, is the ability to collaborate and innovate with people right close by you. For example, the ability to jump across the street and talk about a programming question that you might not know about. There's an entrepreneur there, a programmer who can help you answer and solve that question.
And another thing about dense startup communities is what we like to refer to as serendipitous collisions. Lots of great ideas and partnerships come from unplanned meetings. That doesn't happen without density, and that's a huge benefit of what we're creating here.
I think for an outsider coming in, that if they have an idea and they want to come bring it to Kansas City, they're going to have a whole community supporting them before they even get here.
No one wants to be on the island by themselves, regardless of how successful their idea could potentially be. And that's what we do. We provide that community background that allows the startups coming to Kansas City to flourish.
Some of the leaders of the entrepreneurial movement are what's called the Big Six, but also other larger corporations in Kansas City. Basically branching out, finding out what the best way is that they can impact the startup community as well as provide resources.
So one of the things that a lot of people find attractive about Kansas City as opposed to other startup communities is it's so affordable to get going. It's so affordable to get your startup off the ground. The runway here is longer. In Silicon Valley, 3 months of runway can cost you several $100,000 if you're employing a lot of software developers. Here, rents and salaries are much lower. Cost of living is lower, the quality of life is high, so you get a lot more bang for your buck.
We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity as a city and as an entrepreneur community with Google Fiber. Google Fiber provides an undeniable lightning rod and boost to our efforts and have just catapulted it at the speed that we couldn't have done otherwise.
Some of the people who've moved in have already been on the New York Times, they've already been in Fast Company, they've already been in TechCrunch, they've already been in just about every magazine and blog that really matters. And that's a lot of eyes that you really care about, looking at your product specifically.
People have come from all over to join this little small area in Kansas City, Kansas. And guess what? They have access to the fastest internet in the world through Google Fiber. And we think that if you put all those people together, you mix them with the right policy and funding ingredients, that their startups can really take off and can really have an impact.
We have a glimpse into the future, and it gives us an opportunity and an advantage. What does the future look like, and what can we do with it?
Again, no planning went behind this thing. We've got a number of startups here now, more on the way, and this is an opportune moment that we don't want to let slide by.